Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you for joining in on this Monday evening. I hope you guys have had a very good start to the week. So, Manchester United, a busy start to the week for the club. Obviously, last night we got the big news that we have been waiting weeks upon weeks upon weeks for, and that is Andre Onana. Here we go. And we can reveal as well, Andre Onana will be doing a Manchester United medical tomorrow. So that is a deal that will be done. It probably means Onana will be going on this preseason tour to America. So that's a big positive for Erik ten Hag. And look, obviously we know this already. We know that Erik ten Hag has finally got his man. But let's go through this. Here we go. Fabrizio Romano, United have signed Andre Onana, 5-year deal from Romano. So look, guys, I'm really excited about this move because this is going to change everything about this football club. The way we play football every single week, the actual system has changed so much. This will be an Erik ten Hag team at long last. I can see Dan in the comments, good to see you, and Ali Cardi as well, good to see you as well. So of course we are reacting as well to the news on Rasmus Hojlund. So this is the big one, guys. This is seemingly going to be Manchester United's next move. So let's get talking about it because this could be going somewhere and it could be going somewhere fast. Once we see definitive price tags put on players, you know that some negotiation has took place. The talks have been ongoing. United, we've kind of put them on hold for a little while until we got Onana over the line. Now it's full steam ahead on this Rasmus Hojlund deal. So this is coming in from various sources. Romano himself has said Hojlund will be the next target for Manchester United. So coming in from Simon Jones, Manchester United will pick up the talks once again with Atalanta over Rasmus Hojlund this week. An offer of £65 million may bear fruit. So obviously, I don't think we should be spending that caliber of money on Rasmus Hojlund. Look, he's a very talented young player, but I don't think that's his price tag. Will he be worth 65 million? Not first season, second season probably will be, but I think this is an investment for the future. I feel like this is an investment in the now. So I'm all aboard this. So long as it's structured in a way that Manchester United are not getting rinsed in the market, I think it's a good deal. Maybe we could see £50 million up front, maybe then some add-ons and stuff, quite easily achievable, and that could lead to Rasmus Hojlund's signing. But we are asking on the poll as well tonight, guys, should we be spending £65 million on Rasmus Hojlund? So the options, of course, are yes and no, or he will be worth it in the future. That is the options we're going for. Shade is down there, good to see you, man. Dan as well, United need a striker and United Tax becomes involved and we pay any money for the long-term investment. Ryan C, good to see you, man. Connor Richard as well, good to see you, man, as well. Big shout out as well to Bottom Bins podcast. Was very happy to be invited on there as well. So if you haven't checked them out, give them a look as well, guys, after the show. Rashford contract so important for United. Yeah, look, that is another big piece of information we do have. This Rashford contract at long last seems to be going through, and it's not going to be as high as we thought. Now, we had been told 350, 375k per week. It looks like it's going to be 325. And look, I mean, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but I feel like this is kind of the going rate for your top level players. Bukayo Saka is on 300,000 per week. Jadon Sancho is on 350k per week. And obviously Rashford has done a lot more in the last couple of seasons than Jadon Sancho has done. So look, all things considered, I think it's an okay deal. I feel like United are probably going about this in the right way. And I'm happy to see Rashford signing. Obviously, Rashford is going to be the franchise player of this club if we do want to use Americanisms in regards to this, but he will be the star player for this team. He is Mr. Manchester United. And look, there's obviously a lot of talks about there as well that Rashford might be a future captain of United. I don't know if I see that happening. I think it's going to be Bruno. I think he will be the captain going forward. So look, guys, let's have a look at this Hojlund deal because this is the one that we really want to get talking about. So Alfredo Padilla has says possible new bid from Manchester United for Rasmus Hojlund could be launched. Atalanta want 60 million euros plus bonuses for the Danish striker. So that's kind of in the remits where I'm thinking of. And I feel like whenever the Mail are talking 65 million, that's probably all in. That's probably inclusive of the add-ons. If we're looking at 60 million, it's around 50 to 55 million pounds. Then the bonuses, maybe 10, 15 in bonuses, depending on appearances, on goals, maybe awards, if we win some trophies, stuff like that. It can be staggered out. It can be done in such a way that United maybe are not getting rinsed too much up front. But as Dan said, there's a big United tax that is still a thing as well. So that always has to be factored into this transfer window. And look, it swings both ways. Manchester United were trying to sell players, and we have clubs coming to us with pathetic bids for players like Fred. We have West Ham, who have just received £105 million for Declan Rice, and they're telling us they don't have the money to pay for Harry Maguire. They're looking him on loan. So I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous as well, guys. This is a result of years upon years of poor investment, overspending on some players, underselling as well. When we have our CEO, the guy running the show at Manchester United for many years, and Ed Woodward coming out with interviews saying we can do things in the market other clubs can only dream of. You're basically just putting a big sign up and saying we will overpay and we will undersell. So that's been a case for a very long time. Connor is saying sales of Alanga by Tele is going to be key to raising funds for a deal like Hojlund. Yes, I do agree. Sales will be important as well. That is going to be something that United need to do, and we need to get better at this because we have a limited budget. Now, according to reports yesterday, it's maybe looking at the very most £170 million. Whether we actually get that or not, maybe that's inclusive of sales like we're expecting to go through. Let's find out. But we've already spent 50 million on Mason Mount. We've spent 45 on Andre Onana, so that's close to 100 million pounds. And we were told for a long time before the market actually opened, United's budget would be around about 120 without sales. So obviously these sales are going to be so important to getting the squad that Erik ten Hag wants. And this man is coming in to this window with a vengeance. He's coming in with a ruthless streak that we've really needed to see for a long time at Manchester United. He is coming in. Harry Maguire stripped of the captaincy. We've pulled an offer off the table for David De Gea, and he is left on a free contract. There's a lot of players who have been good for United in the past looking at the exit now because Erik ten Hag is really starting to get to grips with the squad, really starting to shape it into the way he wants his squad to be. And for us to keep doing that, for us to give this man the backing he needs, the backing he deserves, we have to be able to sell these players, and that's going to be so important for the rest of the window. Dan is saying Maguire is halfway out the door as well. Irfan is saying, what is the news about number 9s? In terms of number 9s, it does look like Rasmus Hojlund is first choice. He is the man we are going for to lead the forward line next season. Look, 65 million, it's going to be a lot of money. It will be a big investment, a potentially big gamble as well, because he is somewhat improving. Only one season at the top level playing in Serie A, so he hasn't got that Premier League experience as well. So we don't know how he's going to transfer over. He might find Premier League really easy. He might find the more attacking style really suited to his game, or he might come in and he might struggle to really hit the ground running at Manchester United in the short term. And that's why for a long time I have always said I would like to see an experienced striker brought in alongside Rasmus Hojlund, even if it's somebody who's going to be here for 1, 2, maybe even 3 seasons at most. That's going to be a good deal for Manchester United, and that's what a good club would do. That's what a proper serious club would do. They would go and say, look, this is a young kid coming in, only 20 years old, let's get him some backup and take the weight off his shoulders, because being Manchester United striker, it comes with a lot of pressure, and this is a team who will be expected to at least compete for big honours next season. We did it last year, we finished 3rd, we won a trophy. Next season we want to see more progress, with Onana coming in, with Mount coming in. That's really going to help United play better football on the pitch, but it will be a big pressure on a young man's shoulders if he comes in by himself to lead this forward line, because let's face it, Anthony Martial, we will not be relying on him next season. Ideally we sell. I don't think it's going to happen, because I think overall clubs will look massive wages. United looking a fee for this guy, and he is made of glass. He will miss at least 25 matches next season guaranteed, and that's on a good day. That is a good season for injuries for the guy. Irfan is do United have a free run for Hojlund? It looks like we do. Now, there was little pieces of information flying about that PSG might be interested, but they seem to have turned their attention to other targets. Dusan Vlahovic could be a target for them. Harry Kane might be a target as well. Let's see what's going to happen. Ashid is saying, how long does it take to go from England to Northern Ireland? Depends. If you're going by plane, probably half an hour, 30 minutes. You can get a boat as well, which takes a little bit longer, but about 30 minutes, 35 on the plane. It's not too far at all, guys. Let me see. So we're going to go through this because this is obviously the big story. It's Rasmus Hojlund coming to Manchester United, and this is going to be absolutely imperative. Look, we've got the goalkeeper sorted. We have the midfielder sorted. Let's get this striker. And those are the three main signings that we needed in this window. And everything else after this, I would consider a bonus. If we buy a centre-back, we get a second midfielder or a second striker, that's really going to help us more. But we need these three players done over the line, and that's going to be the most important thing. So, look, Hojlund, this looks to be the next target for Manchester United. So we're going to go through a report by Fabrizio Romano now because he has come out with a lot of information for you guys to go through. So Manchester United and Newcastle remain in active talks for Axel Diazy. This is what I call a bonus signing. This is what I call a supplementary signing that will be decided by sales. It will be decided by how much money we have left. And look, as Dan has said, Amrabat is another player linked, and he will be one of those players who we might bring in should we sell these players. Should we manage to move Maguires and Hendersons, Scott McTominay's and Fred's on, that's going to be a big one. So look, Diazy, Amrabat, Taremi, these guys absolutely scream backup supplementary signings coming in and making the squad as a whole better. And that's something I've said for a long time. We need floor raising signings. We need to take the level of the squad up one or two levels to seriously compete. Look, we've got a very good starting 11. If we bring in Hojlund, that's a brilliant team because then we've got Onana. Then we have Dalot or Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Mount, Bruno, Rashford, Anthony, Hojlund. But then we look at the bench and then we're still looking at Scott McTominay. We're still looking at Maguire's, Fred's on the bench. So that's going to be something else altogether that we have to work on. Bringing in people who can come in, not just to be there as an extra body like a Weghorst, not just to be there as someone who might be good from time to time like Sabitzer, someone who genuinely can come in and really push for a first team position at this club. Free London City, Gordon is saying, as for me, I would like to see Amrabat. Yes, I would love to see Amrabat as well. I feel like he's going to suit us very nicely in midfield. Really good passer of the ball. Very, very good carrier of the ball as well. It is probably the one weakness in Casemiro's game is his inability really to carry the ball forward. Now, playing as a single pivot next season, we don't really want to see that too much, but I do think Amrabat comes in, he gives cover to Casemiro, he can play further ahead at a number 8 position, and we can play both. We can play a double pivot in the big matches and try to really shore up that midfield, a midfield that in the big matches last season, especially away from home, really let us down because Christian Eriksen does not have the legs, doesn't have the tenacity to get into the tackles, and that's going to be something United do need to work on as well. Irfan is saying Man United versus Leon live on Canal Plus. Yes, it probably will be on French TV and stuff. Unfortunately, will not be a watch along. It's a 2 p.m. kickoff, so I'm not going to be able to get out of work for that one, guys. But we will do one. I believe we are playing Arsenal at the weekend on a Saturday. That screams United philosophy match watch along. So if you guys want to join in for that, make sure to keep your Saturdays free. Terry, good to see you, man. He is saying, alongside Hojlund, who do you like to see at the club? Look, I think if we go for Hojlund and we bring in Stefan Amrabat and maybe Taremi, I feel like that's a brilliant, brilliant transfer window. All things considered, we're going into this a lot of uncertainty over who's staying, who's going, what's happening with the takeover, where we're going as a club. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of things do need to be done, but Erik Ten Hag has finally put his foot down and he is shaping this team into a Ten Hag team. Look, we saw glimpses of it last season. Some matches was really, really good, especially that Tottenham Hotspur at home match. That is the gold standard of United performances last season, and that's what I think we're going to look to replicate week in, week out next season. A high press, a lot of possession, creating chances and scoring goals, and that's what we're going to want to see. It won't be a once in a blue moon performance. This will be something we can replicate week after week, and to do that we need to give Ten Hag the authority, the ability, and the backing to go out and absolutely tear this team up if necessary. He has been ruthless. Let's see how long we can go for that. Who else have we got down here? Dan, Johnny Evans, training at United. Would you offer him a short-term deal to the end of the season if we are cash strapped? He's done a good job in the Prem for Leicester. I don't know. Probably not. Look, while it might not be a bad idea on paper, and maybe he could add some experience to this team, I do think that Ten Hag really has set the bar of, if you're going to be at this club, you have to be able to play, and you have to be able to play week in, week out, and really not see a drop in performance. And that's why I think Maguire's going to go. Look, I think it was United stand yesterday I was watching. They had a very, very good point about Maguire and the likes. We need players in this squad who can genuinely compete, because yes, the likes of Martinez, Varane, Lindelof, those guys are going to have off days, but can Maguire, can somebody like that have enough good days that he can have a good match when other players are playing badly? That's going to be the big question. Now that has to be the determining factor. And look, in every team, every squad, you're going to have players who are there to make up the numbers, but we want to see more competitiveness. I've said already, and several times in this window, if we have a starting 11, we have 5 or 6 top level players who can come in and compete for different positions. That's going to give us 16, 17 players who we can use and we can rotate. Then on top of that, we probably have 2 to 3 young players coming through the academy, and then you have what I call the squad players, the guys who come in, don't make much of a fuss, and they just turn up and do their job. That's why I think Fred might have stayed, but I understand we want to sell him as well. So Don Bosco says player plus cash would be great. Look, I think that would be a great offer as well. It does look like Atalanta solely want cash. Now, they seem to have turned down a rumoured bid. Now, this isn't coming from Romano or anybody like this, but Italian sources had said United had offered Fred and Donny van de Beek in exchange for Rasmus Hojlund plus money as well. So I feel like we've probably tried this. I feel like we're safer selling those players, and hopefully then we can reinvest that money. Who else have we got down here? Satwant Singh is saying Glazers out. Good to see him, man. Absolutely great. Glazers out. Terry says Amrabat would be good with Casemiro and big away games that we lost last season. Yes, absolutely. And I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting that there's a lot of teams that United can beat. There's a lot of teams we are better than. But at this moment in time, I still think there's a lot of players who are above us, a lot of teams above us. I wouldn't expect us to go home or away against Man City and dominate the ball. That's not going to happen. I wouldn't back us to go away to Arsenal and dominate the ball. So, and at Anfield as well, Stamford Bridge, if we can turn up there and be hard to beat and play to our strengths, I feel like that's really going to help us, because that means that we can use a lot of the different tools we have. Look, we are a team that will be built for possession, but we still have the pace, we still have the directness from Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony, guys like that, to get in behind in these big matches. And Erik ten Hag has shown he's a pragmatic man. He isn't afraid to mix it up if he feels it's going to get him a result, and that's going to be absolutely crucial. Rajat says Johnny Evans doesn't fit the new structure of planning. I feel like we probably need to move away from that as well. Hot Fuzz, good to see you, man, and smash up the likes. Yes, guys, drop a like on the video as well. Mewan is saying, Onana, what's my name? It looks like we're going to have Onana this medical tomorrow. He's meant to be flying either tonight or tomorrow morning, then straight into medical. Get everything done. The big concern with Manchester United, it's the yearly saga, guys. It is the visas. Manchester United, we need to sort visas out for Andre Onana. Obviously not for Mason Mount. Guy is English, so not needed, but we need to get Onana done to a visa so he can work. Rajat says, who's talking about Hojlund? So Hojlund stuff is coming in from Daily Mail to start off with. Simon Jones has said it probably will take around 65 million to really sway Atalanta's head for them to go. Now look, their coach has come out as well. He has said it's likely that Hojlund leaves in this transfer window, and you have to think it's going to happen, absolutely. And as well as that, who else had mentioned it? It was Alfredo Padilla, so Italian sources. New possible bid from United for Rasmus Hojlund could be launched. Atalanta 60 million plus bonuses for the Danish striker. I think it's a fair deal. Look, I think as much with Hojlund, maybe he's worth 35 million at the minute. It's going to be an investment in the future, and he's one of these players, and we said it before, guys, look, we complain when Manchester United miss out on the likes of Bellingham, when we miss out on Tchouaméni, Camavinga, when we miss out on the likes of Moses Caicedo, because we didn't pull the trigger early doors. I feel like what could happen with Rasmus Hojlund is maybe he takes a move elsewhere if it doesn't come in from United. If he ends up at a Dortmund, if he ends up somewhere like that, then all of a sudden he's a £100 million player straight away. So this is United investing in the future as much as we are investing for today. Who we got down here, guys? Irfan says, are you playing FPL? Yes, we're going to do an FPL we'll do an FPL league for the channel. You guys can all join in as well. Sean is saying Maguire out, and Mewan is saying we need to get rid of Maguire. And Greg is saying as well, Hojlund got all the attributes to terrify defenders. Brilliant movement, strong, quick, he's big, and he's always ready to create. Playing him in a front three would be a possibility, absolutely. And the best thing about Hojlund, and this is something I really like, is he mainly played in the front two last year for Atalanta, in a kind of way that Marcus Rashford would be occupying the other half space. And that's really good for me, because that means we're signing a player, not only he's going to score us goals, but he's not going to take chances away, not going to take up the positions that our other better players need to be in as well, because it isn't just about getting someone who's going to score 30 goals next season. If we bring in somebody who will score 30 goals without taking goals away from Marcus Rashford, all of a sudden then you're looking at 50 to 60 goals between two players. That's going to give us a massive, massive help. So we're going to talk Harry Maguire. So this is potential outgoing. Look, guys, we spoke yesterday on the show. A lot of you guys felt it was the right decision. I completely agree as well that Harry Maguire leaves Manchester United. And look, taking the captaincy off him, I feel like that's a push towards the door. And look, Eric Ten Hag, he cannot sell this man directly. Eric Ten Hag isn't the man running negotiations. He might have his own opinions, he might have his inputs, but he isn't the guy at the end of the day sitting down with other teams and having that sort of conversation. What he can do is let Maguire know that you're going to be fifth choice. If you want to play for England, you're going to have to move on. You cannot be my captain if you're not going to be on the pitch. So this is coming in. Jacob Steinberg, West Ham exploring a loan for Maguire, potentially with an option to buy. They feel like the signing of Maguire on a permanent deal is too expensive. Do you know what we call this, guys? This is absolute nonsense from West Ham United. This is the same club who just received £105 million, and here they are trying to tell Manchester United that they are skint. This is as bad as United telling clubs that we have no money, that we can't pay an extra 1 or 2 million. This is just an absolute downright lie, and it's embarrassing. And I sincerely hope that Manchester United say, if you want Maguire, you pay for Maguire. And that's what we're going to have to do. As much as we want to see clubs and United being strong in negotiations when buying players, we need to put the foot down when it comes to the other foot, because Harry Maguire goes to West Ham, he becomes their best defender automatically. And United need to have some more self-respect in these negotiations, and thankfully we're doing that. That's nothing but a good thing for me. Terry saying, if we keep the home record like last season, improve on the away games, we could shock a few people when we finish. Yeah, we could do, absolutely. Rajat says he could go to Juve, would like Gonzalo Ramos because of the physicality, but Hojlund would be great also. Yeah, both very good young strikers, and they're both well built. I'm not quite sure about Gonzalo Ramos in terms of height. I know that Hojlund is around 6'4", very quick, very strong. A proper man up front there, even at 20 years old. Mr. Yu is saying, no loan to Maguire, sell him to Greece. Feel like the country of Greece might not be able to afford Harry Maguire, and he might end up back in prison over there, so maybe not the best idea. But look, guys, honestly, United need to stop getting bent over in these negotiations. We need to stand up for ourselves and take it on the chin. If we have to walk away from a deal, it's not the end of the world. United need to have that self-respect. And finally, we're getting it. Look, it's not perfect yet. A lot of things still need to get better. We do have another example of United being firm in negotiation as well. So this has come in from Fabrizio Romano today. So Galatasaray offered 5 to 6 million for Fred, and United instantly rejected. So I'm glad about this, because United, we've had a shocking selling record in recent seasons. We've really struggled to make any sort of money on these players, and thankfully John Murda seems to have grown a backbone over the course of the season, because now this man's walking into negotiations telling that he will not overpay, that he will not undersell. And to be fair to him, now it's not perfect, but it's better. It is getting better. And I'm not too fond of having Manchester United's director being an apprentice, learning on the job. But I mean, if he is going to put his foot down, I think it's going to be a good thing for Manchester United. Luman says, let's give Maguire a chance without the captaincy. Dan says Maguire needs to get sold to get him out with McFred. Ten Hag stamping his authority. Absolutely. This just screams of Ten Hag going, you know what? I've been here a season. I've seen it. I've seen it all. I've seen what you guys are capable of. These players can stay. These players are good enough. These guys, they're not good enough. They're not in my team. And that's the kind of ruthlessness Manchester United have needed for a long time. Daniel's down there. Good to see you, man. Who we got? Kerwin as well. They're saying that it's not in their budget to pay for Maguire. Yeah. I mean, West Ham, £105 million up front. We've all seen it. Declan Rice is at Arsenal and they're telling us we have no money, we are poor, we are broke, we can't afford to buy Maguire. Get out of here. Get out of here, honestly, guys. And look, I'm glad Manchester United are putting the foot down. Obviously, the big concern is going to be Harry Maguire wages and stuff as well. That's going to be a massive one for United to work around. So I'm hoping we don't get bent over on that as well, because United, we've seen it in the past. We've got rid of players, put them out on loan and paid their full wages. So we need to be strong both ways. We need to be strong in terms of selling it, and that's going to be really important. So this coming in from Steinberg as well. So West Ham exploring a loan for Maguire. United have apparently told West Ham they will not take any loans. I don't know how this is going to go as well, guys. Let me see who we got as well. Let me get that in the chat. Nixon is saying as well, the club have said they're going to spend 120 million, but I'm saying they're about to spend 200. Where's the other money coming from? Look, a couple of different sources came out yesterday. The Glazers have finally agreed to give Erik ten Hag a little bit more money, potentially up to 170 million. That's going to be the difference in signing Hojlund and Amrabat and missing out on both players. Whether that happens or not, whether that's contingent on sales, let's find out. But United, we're being strong in the market. We are being ruthless in some regards for Manchester United. For other clubs, this would be bang average, probably slightly poorer than normal. But for United, this is something big. Daniel, good to see you, man. Rajat, Maguire is okay, not a good captain, not fit for United level. Yeah, I completely agree. And that's the thing with Harry Maguire. If he went to West Ham, he's probably their best defender. He's probably one of the best players on that team. Like, it's not that this guy is an awful defender. He has his uses. He can defend the box. He can hit the ball out. He's a very good in terms of reacting to stuff. Can he read the game? No. Can he pass the ball particularly well? No. Is he quick? No. But at a West Ham where they're going to be defending for most of the half, that's going to be a good buy for them. He suits them and what they're going to do. Who we got? Daniel is saying super chats help support the GOAT. Helpless man go full time on the. Honestly, thank you guys anyway. Look, you don't need to send any super chats and stuff as well, but if anybody does, go on ahead. And we also have the membership up and running, so big shout out to our members, Big T, Hot Fuzz, Daniel and Dan, and we have as well 2 new members, I'm So Fresh and Niraj. So thank you very much for all that one, guys. Rajat says sign Amrabat, he will change this team. And Luman is asking, does preseason without a striker worry you? Absolutely, it does worry me. Look, I would like Hojlund signed tomorrow. That's what we need to do, because that will make United much, much better. And the longer we have these guys in the first team, in and around our own players who will be playing week in, week out next season, going to make such a difference to Manchester United. Look, honestly, I would like it signed. I think it's most important that we got the big deals done first. I feel like signing Mason Mount was always going to be a difficult ask from Chelsea. I feel like that's probably why he was the first signing. In terms of bringing Onana in, yes, that's important that we get that done before pre-season, because look, if we had Hojlund, he makes different runs, he makes different movements in the box, but it's not going to be a completely different thing to anything anyone's ever played with before. Having Onana and bringing him in for De Gea, that's going to completely change the game, because all of a sudden now the whole backline are going to be 10, 12, 15 yards further up the pitch. That's going to make a big, big difference on how Manchester United plays. So having him in early doors to have that pre-season, look, we've only played 1 match so far. He won't be playing against Leon. That's probably the way it's going to go. But he can be on the tour. He can be playing all those matches, doing all that training. And I fully expect this to be a big success for United. But it will take time. Make no mistake about it. There will be teething problems. And we want to get those teething problems done in pre-season, because that makes the biggest difference. Because pre-season matches, they don't mean anything. You can lose every preseason match and then go on to win the Premier League. That's the way it goes. Like, so it's important we get used to the system, obviously building up fitnesses and stuff as well. Greg is saying United will sell Maguire when they please. It's not a major problem to replace him. Martinez and Varane are starters. Lindelof to come in and Luke Shaw as emergency centre-back. Not a bother at all. Absolutely. And dare I say, there are young players at this team as well. Maybe a Ted and Mengi. Maybe somebody like that steps in as like a fifth choice centre back there for emergencies. Maybe that's the way United are going to go. Look, last season we played matches Luke Shaw centre back and we played Casemiro centre back, so that made a big difference. Super chat in from Dan. Thank you, man. He is saying, Onana, what's my name? Honestly, guys, so long as we don't see any Andre Onana, Rasmus Hojlund dance videos outside of Old Trafford, I would really appreciate that as well. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen AFTV's Declan Rice video, so nothing like that. I'm sure if anyone would do it, it's probably United stand. They've probably got the clout for it, but I hope they don't. Let's see, Rajat, loan to buy Maguire deal makes sense to do. Got two players on pre-season. Nice. Yeah, that's a big difference, guys. We went last season on pre-season. The only player we had was Tyrell Malacia. We brought in Leitch, we brought in Ericsson, but they didn't make the tour. So it's going to be a difference, and that's going to be good for United. So obviously, big shout out to Dan there as well. Kerwin is saying, haha, look, it's not like they can't afford Maguire. He's just not budgeted particular wages. Yeah, look, Maguire needs to have a real look in the mirror. Is this man worth 250k per week? No. Would any other club in the world pay him £250,000 per week? No chance. Not a chance. Honestly, guys, no hope of it. And look, it makes sense that it's going to be a deal that'll be hard to do, but what I don't want to see United do is going, we'll play half of Maguire's wages, because that's just not the sort of message we want to be sending. So let's get talking about another player going out on loan. We've actually got two guys going out on loan here, potentially. First up is Facundo Pellistri. So Manchester United are interested in selling Facundo Pellistri on a European club to get experience. The idea is if he does well, he could have another chance under Erik ten Hag, if not be sold. That's what we call being smart. That's what big teams do. That's what smart teams do. So that is that's what I want to see United doing, because that's a bit of ruthlessness. You're basically telling this guy, go out, perform. If you do well, you can come back and have a first team spot. Or if you're not good enough, we can sell you on after having some match experience. That's what we call smart operation of a football club. That's what we call being a good team, all things considered. And that's what we have to be doing more of. And I'm completely for something like this. I think Pellistri is a very talented young player, brings a lot to this team, and something different. He's a real old-fashioned type winger. He wants to go around the man, get to the byline, put a cross in. That's what he wants to do. And there's definitely a place in the team for that. But let's see what's going to happen. He is direct, as Dan is saying, and he takes players on. There's a lot to like with this guy. Obviously, very unproven in a lot of respects, but let's see what happens if he goes out on loan, smashes it up. He could stake a place for a future first team position. It's the exact same as Amad Diallo. Rizat says, didn't we already sell Mengi? I don't think we sold Mengi yet. I think we've got rid of Axel Tuanzebe, of course. I think Mengi's still at the club. Pretty sure he is. Let's see, Celebi as well. United should loan Maguire if possible. I would prefer to sell, get those money in as well, guys. Sink in, yo, Nana, what's my name? Honestly, guys, we're not going to be singing on the channel anytime soon, but it might come someday. Good to see you, man, as well. Thanks for joining in. Mr. You guys can't imagine the job Ten Hag is doing with United. He recruited only warriors who don't give up on the field. Yeah, absolutely. And we're bringing in big attitudes, big players with that leadership responsibility. How long, guys, is it that we genuinely have 4 or 5 different options who could be the club captain? That is nothing but a good thing. When Harry Maguire got that captain's armband, he was the only player at the club who maybe could have had it, and even then he was given it after a couple of months. It was a political thing. United were like, this is the most expensive defender in the world, let's stick him as club captain. Here also we got Rajat Ahmad has been playing different positions in Sunderland. Centre attacking mid, right wing, left wing. Yeah, he's even played kind of in a centre mid position. Obviously very versatile player, very talented player, but he is another one who could be going on loan. So we have this coming in, Simon Jones of the Daily Mail. So Leicester City are interested in Amad Diallo, but they face competition from Premier League clubs such as Burnley and Sheffield United. The 21-year-old is more likely to stay in the Premier League. Look, guys, that is what we have been calling for a long, long time on the channel. If Amad Diallo cannot play week in, week out, if he cannot get the minutes, get him a Premier League loan. Get him playing at the top level. That's going to be so much better for him, going to be so much better for Manchester United. And look, he's had a key part in his career, 21 years old. This is getting into make or break for Amad Diallo. Last season, definitely resurrected his career, really cemented him as a top young player. But there is more to come, and we want to see him playing Premier League football. If he can do what he did for Sunderland last year, playing for a Burnley, playing for a Sheffield United, a Crystal Palace, somebody like that, then all of a sudden we're looking at a real first team regular who we should be going for and we should be playing. Rajat wants to see an AFT type video. Honestly, guys, well, I'm not based in Manchester, of course, but if I ever do move to Manchester, I will do, we'll maybe do something then, though. Brian is saying Premier League is hard, better 55 million. Yeah, absolutely. And Rajat, Amrabat on top, Amrabat singing you out. Honestly, guys, you guys should be writing the song to Manchester United. Hot Fuzz says Maguire needs to be sold. People stop saying reasons to give players second chances when their whole stint at the club has been nothing but second chances. Yeah, I mean, Harry Maguire had his second chance probably a couple of months into his Manchester United career. This man must be on his 10th chance. And look, his downfall directly coincided with that of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. I don't know. I just feel like Maguire going, it's going to be the best thing for Manchester United. Dan is saying hopefully gets Suzuki and Heaton can go to Luton. Good servant, Tom, but needs games at this stage of his career. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on Tom Heaton. Obviously, he's like 35 now, so he might be thinking, this could be the last chance to really play football in my career. We do have this coming in, Chris Wheeler, so thanks for reminding me. So United going to go for Zion Suzuki. Look, it's a domino effect. We've been talking about this domino effect for a while. It happens first. It's Andre Onana, done deal. Onana comes in. Then we see Dean Henderson go. And then we see Suzuki come in. Then we see Tom Heaton go. Then all of a sudden, Erik ten Hag has managed to bring in two goalkeepers. His goalkeepers, in his style, in the style of modern goalkeepers that he wants to see. And that's going to be a big thing. So coming in as well from Chris Wheeler, Dean Henderson close to a move to Nottingham Forest in a deal that could be worth £20 million. Now look, this seems an okay deal for Manchester United, but I think we could do better. I think we can do more, guys. Honestly, who we got down here as well? Voltacado, the fastest gust of wind ever recorded on Earth was 253 miles an hour. Interesting to know, guys. Thank you very much for the stats, of course. Sinkin is saying, why are we pursuing Hojlund for 60 million? Hojlund is the best, 30 million, going to 40 with add-ons. Yeah, look, that's where I think his value is at the moment. But what we're doing is bidding and buying future potential, future talent. And I feel like what he could become is a £100 million striker. If we look at some of the guys going for close to that, I feel like he's right up there. Within a season, he will be better than what Darwin Núñez was when he went to Liverpool. He is a player going to get better for Manchester United, make no mistake about it. But going back to Dean Henderson, because this is something slightly annoying me, because Man City have managed to get 20 million for a guy who's only played in goals in League One. Manchester United are selling a guy with multiple Premier League years of experience for 20 million. It's still not good enough. I feel like we should be pushing that boat further on. I feel like we should be getting around 30 million for Dean Henderson. That's probably his value. If United wanted to buy him from Nottingham Forest, it would probably be 50 million. So United need to stop with this United tax. We need to start getting even more serious in the window. Absolutely, guys. Rajat says no chance for Mason Mount. Not yet, of course. Look, it's always been a bit of a custom that players have to earn the chance. Let's see what Mount does on the pitch. Let me see who else we got down here. Terry, Ten Hag is changing United for the best. He's not afraid to move or drop players on. Everybody said last manager was mad about how many players we need, but not far off. Yeah, look, this did happen, and Ralph Rangnick said we needed at least 10 first-team players. Now, I don't think it was quite 10 first-team players. I think out of the team, who we have at the moment, there's players I don't think will be moved on. Rashford will be staying, of course. We'll probably see Bruno stay, of course. We'll see Luke Shaw. So there's three already. Varane, obviously, still first teamer. Right back situation's a little bit more interesting with Wan-Bissaka and Delo. I feel like both are quite good, but we could upgrade. Not a priority just yet, but there is big work still needed to be done with this team, and it's been a long time since we've genuinely had a manager who wants to be ruthless and demands the highest of standards, because it was one of the biggest things with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A lot of what he did was good, but his downfall and his demise ultimately came from giving the players too much authority, having too much player power at Manchester United. It crippled that team under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the end, and he kind of had himself in a position where he was having to deal with this every single week, where he had rebellions within the dressing room. Obviously, different factors played into that, but Ten Hag has stepped in and he has been ruthless. Obviously, we've let a lot of players go. De Gea, Maguire's hopefully going to go. Ronaldo, those are three big players who in that last season under Oli, who in that last season under Ranić, played almost every single match. This is Erik Ten Hag being ruthless and saying, this is my team and it's going to be built in my image. And that's a massive, massive thing for Manchester United. Stephen Littlejones, if this is true, we as United fans can't ask for much more, especially with this takeover saga. Yeah, look, the big thing is getting the takeover saga sorted. I feel like in terms of on the pitch stuff, we are doing as well as we can do. I feel like we're doing as much as we can do, and we're going in the right direction. What happens off the pitch will be even more important. Getting this takeover done and having the Glazer family out, having genuine desire to win from the owners, that'll filter down onto the pitch. All of a sudden, then we'll be seeing the manager getting more backing. We'll be seeing a board who want to win instead of going, what's the balance sheet say? What does the stock price say? How will the investors react to this? That's where we need to move away from. We are going up against teams who are built to win. We have nation states, entire countries backing teams to win. It's going to take a lot for United to get back to the very, very top of football. And whether we get there or not with the Glazer family, I really doubt it. So that is going to be something that needs to change, guys. Absolutely. Dan is saying 30 million for Henderson, 5 for Hayton, Alanga 20, Van de Beek 20, Maguire 30, Tellez 8, and Bailly 5, Fred 20, McTominay 30. That's what we call a massive, massive influx of transfer budget. That could be, if we sell those players for that much, we could genuinely bring in 3 or 4 more players. I don't think it's going to happen. I think maybe we're looking at half that for most of those players. Henderson maybe 20 million, Hayton probably a free deal, Alanga 15 million maybe. I feel like Van de Beek will be hard to sell on, probably around 10, 15. Who else we got? Maguire, we should be getting 20 for Maguire, absolutely. Tellez and Bailly, I feel like that's realistic. Fred, probably 15. And look, Scott McTominay. McTominay is a player I think should be sold by Manchester United. And look, he is a high value player because he's only 25, 26. A lot of Premier League football, has a lot of experience, and he isn't a bad player. And it's the exact same for Harry Maguire. These guys are not awful footballers, otherwise the manager wouldn't pick them. And it's Jose Mourinho has picked Scott McTominay, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has, Ranić has, and Ten Hag has. He's not a bad player. It's the same with Harry Maguire. As controversial as it might sound, they're not bad players. They're just not Manchester United players, and that's the big thing. It's like saying, like my Ford Fiesta, for instance, it's not a bad car, but I'm not going to take it to Silverstone and try to race Max Verstappen, because whilst it might be a good car for my level, it's nothing compared to the level needed to win the big, big races, the big, big competitions. So that's what I'm talking, guys. Nick Knock says those are fantasy values. Yeah, we're not getting anywhere close to them, man. Vincent, I have a feeling Maguire is going to run down his contract. Hopefully not. Niraj, good to see you as well. Onana deal is done. I'm so happy. Absolutely. Rajat says Alanga going for 8 to 13 million. I feel like we should get more than those as well. I feel like Alanga, at his age, he's still got potential. Look, this guy is a physical beast in terms of his pace and his strength, his athleticism. He is a super athlete. He will be good for other teams. If you put Anthony Alanga in a team where he has space to run into and behind, that's going to make a big difference to him. So could he go to Nottingham Forest and Everton smash it up? Absolutely he could. He could do really, really well for himself. Nick Nack, I'd have thought McTominay would be in demand. He's been great for Scotland. Absolutely. I feel like he is a really top level player for Scotland, for that type of team. You know, it's not asking Scott McTominay to play 50, 60 passes per match. It's try to get forward, try to burst into the box and make something happen. McTominay should be asking for 40. He's a good player. Look, he's a good player, just not a United player. Greg is saying, I'm hearing Onana isn't doing the medical until the end of the week and probably will miss the first game on tour. I've also heard Atalanta set a deadline for 31st of July for Hojlund's transfers. And Hot Fuzz is saying thoughts on United going into pre-season without a first team striker. Look, it's disappointing, but I also think opportunity comes knocking, and it's an opportunity for Joe Hugel. Now, as we know, Charlie McNeil, we had hopes for him going on pre-season. He's going to go on loan, probably to League One. That'll be a good move for him, because that means he'll be playing rough and tough football week in, week out. So that's going to be good for his development. But I don't know. I feel like it's a chance for Hugel maybe to put himself in the shop window. Obviously, we would like to see a striker brought in to really come in and play, but it is what it is. It is what it is, unfortunately, with Manchester United. So here's one as well, guys, we want to talk about, because this is leading into the next topic, Manchester United's next captain. So coming in from Fabrizio Romano, Bruno Fernandes has turned down numerous offers from Saudi Arabia in recent months. I think that's brilliant. Bruno Fernandes has looked at £1 million a week and said, no chance, I'm going to be Manchester United captain. I'm going to lead this team to glory and we're going to win some trophies. And that's the sort of attitude I want to see in my football club. This guy is serious about United getting there. And look, I watched the Romano video earlier. It was on United Stand. It was a good interview, and he did say Bruno Fernandes wants to win trophies. He feels like United are now in the position to go on and really compete for them. So I'm thinking that's nothing but a good thing, guys. And I want to see Bruno Fernandes at this club for a long, long time yet. And let's see what's going to happen. Let's see. Dan is saying as well, sell all the deadwood to Saudi. Yeah, I would love to see it, man. I would love to see it. If Saudi Arabia want to come in, 100 million for Dean Henderson, 100 million for Harry Maguire, that could be nice. That would be very, very nice. Don't think it happens though, unfortunately. Let me see. Just checking here as well to see if there's anything else coming out. I have seen as well, somebody asked me about Amrabat down there, so we're going to talk about him as well. So, look, this has come in from a lot of sources. United are definitely in for Sofyan Amrabat. And look, he is a top level player. He will be a really good signing for Manchester United if we get him, and that's going to be the big thing. He is contingent on seals. That is the big thing. So this is coming in from Italian sources. Gazzetta dello Sport are saying Manchester United have made a first offer for Sofyan Amrabat. It does not meet Fiorentina's €30 million asking price. And then there is a further update coming in, Manchester Evening News and from the Daily Mail. So Manchester United expects offers for Fred, Van de Beek, Scott McTominay, which will open the door to sign Sofyan Amrabat. Liverpool have not stepped up their interest, and United could get a deal done for 25 million. So I think that's a good thing, because when we look at the price of top-level midfielders, the top-level players, 25 million for Amrabat, that's a steal, guys, honestly. And look, I would prefer Romeo Lavia, but he's going to be £50 million plus. We don't have the budget for that. We don't. And Amrabat, he's the right age to come in and make a big difference in this team, guys. Honestly, Eversat says, will Onana be announced soon? Tomorrow, end of the week? It's a good question. It is a good question. Look, I'm sure you guys remember as well. United used to do this thing where we would announce that a deal had been done, and it was kind of just like a website update and not really too much. Then maybe like a couple of days later, we got a big entrance video and photos and all that good stuff that we look forward to seeing. We seem to have kind of dropped off doing that. Haven't done it with Mount. Obviously, we didn't really do it in the January window as well. So let's see what happens on that one. I'm expecting this Andre Onana medical to be very, very soon. Big talk was that it's meant to be tomorrow. That does look to be the order of business. So he's flying in either today or tomorrow, and medical tomorrow as well. So that's good. Let's see. Fabrizio Romano 45 minutes ago says, understood, Andre Onana will not fly today to Manchester despite reports he's still in Milan. No announcement today. Waiting to travel to England later in the week for medical tests. United are currently preparing documents on the contract stuff. So looks like it might be a couple of days yet for Andre Onana. We've waited 2 weeks to get it. Here we go. We might have to wait even longer for those photos. Let me see who we got. These chats are flying in as well, guys. Actually, let me check the poll as well. So, guys, we have asked you on the poll tonight, should we spend 65 million on Rasmus Hojlund? That is expected to be the going price for Hojlund this season to Manchester United. So, look, obviously it's a lot of money. I hope we can offer £50 million in terms of an actual fee and then spread the rest out with some add-ons and stuff. Look, United will not be paying £50 million for Hojlund regardless, because it'll be spread out. United always spread it out. It'll be like 15 million now, maybe 30 million next year, 10 million the year after that, something like that. That'll probably be the order of business, but all things considered, I think it's a good deal. And it hit that price for getting a guy who, within 2 to 3 seasons, if all goes well, will be a £100 million player plus. Like, the guy is only 20, so much talent, so much potential, and he really suits what United want to do. He is that sort of focal point, and we've really missed that. We definitely need somebody to play the ball off as well, and Hojlund will be that guy. Let's see, Gio, Arthur, Maguire, Fred, Martial, McTominay needs to move on. Get Rasmus Hojlund and Amrabat. United could be in much better shape with the other signings. Absolutely, guys. And that's what we're saying. We're upgrading the squad there. Look, bring in Hojlund, bring in Onana, bring in Mount. Those are first team players. They come in and start every single week. That's going to make a big difference to the team. Then you see some of the players drop down. Now, Christian Eriksen, if we have him as a bench option, as a rotation option, that's going to be good for the team. Anthony Martial, I don't know. We obviously need a goalkeeper. We have no goalkeeper. But bringing in Amrabat, bringing in a Taremi, somebody like that, a Suzuki, that takes the level of your bench up a couple of points. And that's going to be massive, because then you have genuine options who can change games, who can impact stuff, and can be a rotation option as well. And that's going to be one of the big things. And it's a problem United have had for a long time. There's a season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, United played the same team for 11 matches in a row. Last season under Ten Hag, Bruno Fernandes played basically every single match. Casemiro played every time he was fit or not suspended. Martinez, Varane, a lot of these guys were overplayed. So if we can rest them, it means you're always getting the best performances out of them. And that's massive for Manchester United. Let me see who else is down here. Naraz is saying Saudi is giving offers to almost every single player. Yeah, if they want to buy Fred for 100 million, would be very, very much appreciated. Erik ten Hag will send his regards. Rajat says, will Onana be announced soon? Possibly Wednesday, Thursday seems to be most likely at this rate of going. Kim going to Bayern is hard to take. Yeah, Kim and Jai would have been perfect, guys. And look, as much as I like Varane, I feel like Kim and Jai would be even better for United. Obviously, that could be brilliant competition. I mean, if you have one of Kim and Jai and Varane starting every week, that is absolutely fantastic. Dan says, like the Super League all over again. Yeah, absolutely, man. Do you agree with that? Greg says, Amrabat will be a top signing. I don't see him as cover for Casemiro. I see him coming in to be a key player. Yeah, and look, that's the big thing, guys. Not every player has to start every match. When United won the treble, that iconic team that everybody thinks of Schmeichel, Neville, Stam, Johnson, Dennis Irwin, then Scholes, Keane, Beckham, Giggs, York and Cole, I believe it only played 2 or 3 times across that season. You need bench players, you need options to come in. And look, Man City, like even last season, they had either Gundogan or they had Bernardo Silva or they had Foden on the bench, and like you do need those options. Grealish on the bench as well. And we always come back to it. I've said it so many times. Like, we were in the FA Cup final and De Bruyne came off and Phil Foden came on. United took off Martial to bring Weghorst on. So, look, players will still play a lot of matches, make no mistake about it. So, look, Amrabat comes in. I think he will be a key player for United if we sign him. Can play in that number 6 role, can play as a double pivot in the big matches, and he can play as a number 8 as well. And that gives us so much potential. And if we go into next season with a midfield of Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount, Eriksen, Bruno, then maybe keep one of Fred, maybe, and then maybe we got Kobe Menu, maybe we got Mesbury. That is one hell of a midfield with experience, with legs, with creativity, with passing, can control matches, can come on press matches. So many different options there, so many tools at Ten Hag's disposal. Stephanie's in there. Good to see you. Thank you for joining in, Stephanie. Let's see, Nick Nack says Casemiro's form dropped off at the tail end of the season. Yeah, it's like Casemiro was brilliant for maybe the first half, maybe first 60%. And then it got to around about late February, March, and his form did drop off. And then once United were out of Europa League, once the Carabao Cup was finished and we played 1 match per week, he was brilliant towards the end of the season. Scored against Chelsea, ran the show in that match. Scored against Bournemouth. Brilliant goal as well. So he is a guy who will need some breaks. He will need breathers. Look, he's a quality player, but he cannot be a quality player if he's constantly exhausted from playing every single match. And it's the same for a lot of these guys. Some rest into them, you'll get better levels of performance, make no mistake about it. Stephanie says, remove the players Ten Hag does not want and create a new transfer kitty by Hojlund and Amrabat. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Ten Hag has been ruthless so far. Let's continue that streak. Let's continue being ruthless, cutting the players we don't need. What is it they always say? Separate the wheat from the chaff. That's what we need to do, guys. Absolutely. Can Onana play in pre-season? Asks Niraj. Look, I think he can. It might not be. Well, he won't play against Leon on Wednesday. He might not play in the first pre-season match at this rate of going, but he will be there for most of it, and that's the big thing. We're playing 8 or 9 matches. He might miss 2 or 3. So if he's there for 5 or 6, that's better than not having him at all. So I'm happy with that. Nick Knock says Ericsson is the shadow of a player he used to be. I feel like Ericsson's a player played out of position a lot deeper than what he likes to. He's better in a possession-based team, and against the smaller teams who are going to come and sit back. United could line up with a midfield of Bruno and Ericsson, Mount, Casemiro. That's going to carve teams open, going to make lots of opportunities for Manchester United. On the other hand, providing could wages drive up the board? Yeah, absolutely could. Anyone worried about the Saudi League paying mad wages to every player? Yeah, look, the big thing with the Saudi League is they don't have Champions League football. They can't play in the Champions League, so that's the big thing. Now, whether they want to bribe off UEFA to extend it to them going into Champions League, let's find out what happens, because anything is possible with the money-grabbing authorities who run the game of football, from FIFA to UEFA to the FA. It is money, 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 and money will always talk. Make no mistake about it, guys. Always going to talk to these guys. Let's see. Niraj says, if United can get Kim, Hojlund and Amrabat, we would have better chances to compete for the title. Yeah, not going to get Kim now. He's gone to Bayern. But there are other options out there. Diamande from Sporting Lisbon's a good shout. Antonio Silva from Benfica. I think that could be the move next season. Next season, we might be looking at phasing Varane out of the team slowly but surely. Still has a lot to offer, but he is injury prone. He is the wrong side of 30, so maybe we start to look at younger options to come in and be a long-term replacement. Maybe that's what we start to do. Stephanie says Ten Hag needs to rotate. That's why we got injuries and suspension plus burnout. Yeah, look, we do need to rotate, and I feel like a lot of it is Ten Hag's inability to trust the players he had. And look, I don't blame the guy. If he's going from Ericsson, Bruno, Casemiro midfield to McFred and maybe Van de Beek, if he rotates, that is such a drop off in quality that he didn't want to risk that. So I completely understand why he didn't rotate enough last season. But I think next season, if we can bring some players into the squad, it will help make that better. And then hopefully we keep doing that as well. 1 or 2 players for the first team, 1 or 2 players for the squad. That's going to make United a much better force. No doubt about it. Why can't Ten Hag have the option of bringing Ramos in from Portugal? I feel like it's coming down to price tags. Look, this whole big talk about Hojlund being 85 million euros, that was nonsense all along, because United would have walked away from that deal. Gonzalo Ramos, this guy is going to go for over 80 million pounds. Clearly, we don't have the budget for it. Clearly, United are unwilling to spend that caliber of money. Can Onana play the role of CDM because the back four will push up? I mean, some of his positions, you might think he's a midfielder. Like, I'm being deadly serious. This guy will try to dribble out of the box. For anybody who remembers Fabian Barthez from Manchester United, expect to see something similar from Andre Onana. Look, he's going to be brilliant for this team. I cannot wait for it, honestly, guys. Really going to transform things, and he will be the most transformative signing Erik ten Hag has made. Everybody else, yes, they've improved us in Wes, but Andre Onana for David De Gea, that's going to be a complete 180 turn, and that's going to really change how United play football every single match. And, this will be so big for this team. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure to get them in down below. You can see 128 votes. So should we spend 65 million pounds on Rasmus Hojlund? And you guys, 65%, a lot of you guys are going yes, and 27 are saying no, and 8% say he will be worth it. So that means we're backing on the future talent of this guy as well. I think it makes sense. And look, It's not a foolproof transfer strategy, but we've seen it work for a lot of teams. It's the kind of business model that Real Madrid are following at the moment, where they're kind of like, we're going to bring in some of the best young players every single window, and that's going to make us better for a long, long time. And I think it's a good decision by Manchester United to do something similar, and hopefully we continue to do so as well, guys. Keep those comments coming in as well, and as well, guys, don't forget hit that sub button as well. I think we're on like 1,500 subs now, so thank you very much for that, guys, as well. James is down there. Last season was grueling. We had players in the Winter World Cup, and they played 3 games a week catching up. It should be easier now. Absolutely, I do agree with that. Look, Winter World Cup, big impact on United, and we were playing 3 matches per week before the World Cup, 3 matches per week after the World Cup. I think we played like 60 matches, all things considered, last season. Then a lot of these guys went off on internationals in March, and they went off on internationals at the end of June. United players probably slept for a week after that season was over. So, look, rest is going to be important, rotating those guys, and hopefully we get to see some. Maybe some of our players would thankfully retire from international football. I mean, I know Varane has. Thankfully as well, guys, it is worth noting, Andre Onana is retired from Cameroonian duty as well, so that's good for United. He's not going to go missing in January for a month at the African Cup of Nations. That's not going to be a concern for Manchester United, so that's good in terms of that, because it is a concern a lot of teams have had. Obviously, Chelsea missed Didier Drogba for a lot of seasons and a lot of Januaries. And if we're going to have only one real first choice goalkeeper, it's important he's always available, guys. Niraj, Maguire plays well for England, but why is he not performing for United? It's a good decision to sell Maguire at 35 million because we bought him for 18 million approximately. Yeah, and look, this is the thing about Maguire, and the reason why he plays better for England, it comes down to a lot of things. First and foremost, international football, it's played at a slower pace. He plays in a back 5 or back 4. He's well protected at England as well. He's usually got Declan Rice. He usually has Henderson or Calvin Phillips beside him. And it's a slower paced game. And England, most matches come up against teams who are of a worse quality. They're coming up against the likes of Albania. They're coming up against the likes of Malta and North Macedonia, or they're coming up against Luxembourg or teams like that. Really, it makes a big difference as well. Obviously, we've seen England in the big matches, in tournaments, when the going gets tough, they have kind of failed as well. And look, that is something with Maguire, but make no mistake about it, he's not a bad defender, but he's just not a United defender. It's like the example I said a while ago on the show as well, guys. Look, my Ford Fiesta, it's very good. It's a very good car. It's very reliable, and it does its job perfectly well for me. But if I take it out on Silverstone against Verstappen and Hamilton, all of a sudden it's well out of its league. Doesn't mean it's not a bad car for the job I need it to do. Just doesn't mean it's suited for the highest levels, for the most competitive races and competitions. And it's the same with Maguire, it's the same with McTominay. They're not bad, they're just not Manchester United. And United should be going for the biggest and best players, in my opinion, as well. Nick Knock says only 15 million than what you paid more for Anthony Martial 8 years ago. Oh man, yeah, we paid a lot for Anthony Martial as well. Greg is saying, what's your favorite United moment? There we go. There is a brilliant question, guys. And look, I got a lot of favorite United moments. Goals and stuff. Look, thinking about Rooney, Rooney overhead kick. Halfway line goals. But for me, the biggest and my favorite Manchester United moment that I've seen will be Edwin van der Sar saving that penalty from Nicolas Anelka, 2008 Champions League final. That's my number one. But I'm going to extend that one to you guys. What is your favourite Manchester United moment of all time? Look, I could have said winning the treble, but I was only 7 or 8 months old, so my memories of that now, they're not quite there. But guys, what is your favorite United moment? We'll get that down in the chat. Let me know your thoughts, because I'm sure that everyone's going to have different ones. I know some people have been a fan for a lot longer. I know some people are newer fans, of course, as well. So some people might have winning the Cup Winners' Cup. Some people might have United winning the Champions League. Some people might even have the Van Persie hat-trick as well. Irfan says, Bruno Fernandes has received more than 2 big offers from Saudi Arabia and rejected them. He wants to stay United. Yep, that came in from Fabrizio today. I completely agree with Bruno. He's going to be club captain. He's not going anywhere. He wants to win stuff. Niraj says, Champions League win was the best moment for me. Yep, I'm assuming we're going 2008 there, man. Obviously, that what a final. And I was watching some of the highlights of that as well, just out of interest. And genuinely, Wayne Rooney could do everything on a football pitch. Obviously, Ronaldo went on to have the better career, win all the accolades, achieved a higher level of football, but there was things Wayne Rooney could do that Ronaldo couldn't do, or Messi couldn't do. Like, Rooney, at one point, ran down the pitch, he tackled Ashley Cole, he got the ball, he dribbled to the halfway line, and he pinged the ball to the far side of the pitch to Ronaldo. That is ridiculous as well. Liman says, Giggs, FA Cup solo goal against Arsenal. Yeah, honestly, one of my favorite goals watching back on it. Now, I do confess I was about 5 months old at the time, but I've seen the highlights enough times as well. Dance going 2008 as well. Absolutely beat the Renties. That back four and keeper. Wow, yeah. Obviously, that was one of the big things in that team. Brilliant front three, brilliant defense as well, and the midfield wasn't too bad either. Obviously, guys, you know, Carrick and Scholes, Hargreaves, Giggs. Nick Knox says best moment for me was when Brentford won 4-0. All right, man. Just kidding. It's funny, honestly, guys, because that was a horrible loss for United, and I genuinely wouldn't say that was the worst loss of last season. And that's so strange because in years gone by, if United ever lost 4-0, that's like a black day, a black stain on the history of this football club. But it has been a very regular thing as well. There we go. Dan saying big love to Edwin Van der Sar. Yes, absolutely. Glad to say as well, it does look to be that he is making a recovery. He seems to be stable. I think he's back in Holland now, continue to get treatment. So obviously, hope all is good for him as well and his family. Hope he makes a full recovery. Dawn is saying, when are we going to get the new Eric Cantona? There will never be a Cantona again, honestly. We will have big marquee signings. We will have catalyst signings, and it will change things for the better at the club. But I don't think you're ever getting a Cantona again. You're never getting that level of personality. You're never getting that level of confidence on the pitch again. Who have we got? Nick Nack, Hattrick, Letitia, Chipping, Schmeichel. You Southampton fan, man. 6-3. I think that was the Grey Kits match as well. So obviously a story we all well know. Let me check as well, guys. Gotta have a look for some more news as well, just in case anything pops up. Irfan, for me, it's United 20th APL 2010 win. Yeah, absolutely. And Naraj says, imagine if we could win the Champions League this year. Oh man, you're making me feel things. Honestly, you're getting me excited. Look, I don't think United's going to win. United's not going to win the Champions League. It's unfortunate. I would love us to do that, but we're going to see what's going to happen. I think we can have a run. I think we've got a good team. We've got experience. We have a brilliant manager, some fantastic players. And here's the thing with the Champions League. It isn't always the best team who wins Champions League. It isn't always the best teams who get to the final. And the way it's done in brackets now, teams who are poor can get a good run to the final. Inter Milan were not the second best team in European football last season, but they still got there, and they came very close to winning the Champions League because of it. So, look, United could go on a run, depends on the luck of the draw, performances on the night. Look, I think all things considered, if United make quarterfinals, I think that's a good Champions League campaign for the first season back in it, and it's going to make a big difference as well, because we're still a young team, we're still getting better, and we're still a work in progress, and for a while we continue to be so. Dan says 1 billion for Cantona. Yeah, absolutely crazy times. And Nick Knock, got to be in it to win it. Anything can happen once you get to the knockout stages. Absolutely, guys. And dare I even say, like, the last time we met the Champions League final, we weren't the second best team in Europe that year either, but we still got there. Here's one as well, guys, and this will make some people laugh in the chat. It's made me laugh and smile as well looking at it. This is a brilliant one. So West Ham United have seen a loan offer for Harry Maguire and a 45 million offer for Yao Polinia of Fulham turned down. Wow. Who could have seen that happening? Do you want to know why that's happened, guys? That's because they sat and held a gun to Arsenal's head and said 105 million for Declan Rice, and now they're out here trying to tell us that they're skinned, that they have no money. That, honestly, guys, it is ridiculous. It's like seeing your neighbour buy a Ferrari and then he comes round looking a bottle of milk off you because he says he's no money, and you're like, you've got a Ferrari in the driveway there, man. Nick Knock says United want Polinia. Nah, we don't want Polinia, but it's just a point on West Ham looking the loan for Maguire. They're looking, of course, as well to buy Polinia from Fulham. but they're offering stupid money. They're trying to get things done on the cheap when they've just got £105 million cash in hand for Declan Rice. So I don't think anyone's going to buy West Ham can't afford stuff anymore. They got the money for it, make no mistake about it. Let's see. Negotiations between City and Leipzig for Josko Gvardiol have not stopped, and the deal is still on, says Ten Hag. Anything else United related? Gonna have a quick look, guys. I think there was something as well about young players coming through on scholarships, but I haven't been able to find that again. And then we have Axel Diazy. So it looks like United are looking at him as well. We're still in negotiations with Monaco. They want 35 million. So our Newcastle, they're well and truly in for him as well. So let's find out what happens there. Terry says 99 season all over it. Hot Fuzz says Brighton's transfer policy. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And Nick Knock says Fulham signed Polinia for 17 million. Yeah, they're looking at quick. They're looking to flip him on for some money. Let's see what happens on that one. Drop a like on the video as well, guys. We're on 38 likes. Can we get to 40? Only 2 people to like the video as well. And if you guys are new, please consider hitting that sub button as well. Right, guys, we have been going on here for 1 hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to drop off now because my voice is going and I've ran out of water to sustain me. So thanks for watching, guys. And big shout out to Dan as well for that super chat earlier, man. Thank you very much for all the support, guys, and I will see you all same time tomorrow, 7:30. Hopefully we have some Onana news to bring you guys as well. Have a good Tuesday, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Monday as well. Thanks for giving me time out of your day. Really appreciate it as always, and I will see you guys tomorrow.